Peter Obi Atiku should have emulated Jonathan by accepting defeat, says Ben Murray Bruce. So guys, these are the words of Ben Murray Bruce. He's advising Peter Obi and Atiku that they would have accepted defeat after the presidential election instead of heading over to the tribunal. This is what he said on his X account. He said, "Once elections have been held and a winner is announced, we must follow the Jonathan doctrine and accept the people's verdict in the interest of our democracy and the nation. Our elections don't have to end in the courts. But now that we have found ourselves in this position and the courts have spoken, let us put national interest above self-interest, accept the verdict and move on so the nation can advance." Bola Tinubu is the duly elected and undisputed president of Nigeria, and this judgment should settle all questions and erase all doubts. I commend the judges of the Presidential Election Petition Court for doing a challenging job exceptionally well. It was democracy that won, so I commend both the president and his challengers. Coincidentally, this verdict is coming as the president marks 100 days in office, days that have been eventful, effective, and decisive. And now, without this unnecessary uncertainty hanging over his head, we can expect even better days. Finally, I call on all supporters of all the parties to this now settled case to be mindful of recent events on our continent and thus tailor their words and actions to promote the peace, progress, and prosperity of Nigeria as one democratic and united nation under God. So this is what Ben Murray Bruce said to Peter Obi and Atiku, that they would have accepted defeat just like President Jonathan did during his time instead of going to the court. But we all know that this particular case that Peter Obi and Atiku took to the court have helped Nigerians. It has enlightened every Nigerian, because before now, most of us, we don't really know much about our laws. We don't really know more about our electoral acts, about the constitution. But now Nigerians are now more schooled about our constitutions. We now know the laws that govern our land. And regardless of the fact that Nigerians now know better, our mandate was still taken, even yesterday in the tribunal. Reacting to what Ben Murray Bruce said, this person here said, "Is he the common sense? Really, the real common sense is not common. Thank God for His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, for the thousands that he has successfully unmasked on this journey, including these ones." Another person here said, "I have said it time and time again. Eloquence and light skin color doesn't mean the person should be taken seriously. A man who was ashamed of his constituents he represented at the Senate that he couldn't celebrate his birthday in his state, rather in Lagos. Are you surprised?" Another person here said, "Some of these persons are really not what they look like. I am wondering why he didn't relinquish his businesses and companies to those who illegally wanted to take them away, justifying illegalities." That's the simple truth. When it comes to your own personal matter, you will not let go of your business just like that. Not talk of the nation. This is something that concerns our nation, Nigeria. And Peter Obi and even Atiku, they took the right step because it is to fight for Nigeria and for Nigerians. And to a very large extent, like I pointed out earlier, Nigerians now know the law that govern them. Nigerians now know much about this our nation, because before now we are always ignorant whenever it comes to Presidential Election Petition Tribunal or even Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. Most of us don't want to pay attention to it because we believe that let the court just do what they have to do. We don't care about what they are doing. They should just do, or we just have this mindset that we should move on. But moving on for years, we keep on remaining at the same spot. Moving on for years, that's how the same leaders will keep leading us. And that's why we are actually happy about the fact that both the Labour Party and Atiku are moving over to the Supreme Court to take this matter to another level. Another person here said, The only reason why some African countries will never ever make it, we accept corrupt processes and celebrate thieves as long as they are not caught. No evil will ever give birth to righteousness. That's the simple truth. Someone that we know that the processes that brought him into power is illegitimate. You expect Nigerians to just keep quiet, to fold our hands, and to continue to just move on. And that's the same thing that has been happening every time that politicians force themselves on Nigerians. We all just decide to move on. The next 4 years, they will be done. After the first 4 years, they will soon come back again. The next 8 years, and that 8 years will just be 8 years of horror, 8 years of pain for poor masses, for innocent Nigerians out there. How long are we going to continue with what Jonathan did? Just like he pointed out, how long are Nigerians just going to fold their hands, keep quiet, and allow these politicians to ride on us? We can't continue that way. That's the simple truth. We cannot continue that way. And that's why this particular presidential election petition tribunal has opened the eyes of many Nigerians to what is going on in this our country. Another person replied here and said, do you accept defeat when it's evidently clear to you you are not defeated? If yes, then you are not a man. Peter Obi's unwavering faith has further exposed what type of Nigeria we have and has built and still building. And that's the simple truth. You cannot just accept defeat like that. And that's why Nigerians, we are not staying down. That's why even after what the Peps did yesterday, we know that definitely we'll move over to the Supreme Court. And at the end of the day, we believe that justice will be served. Another person here said, must everyone be like Jonathan? Moreover, Jonathan conceded defeat for some personal reasons, not like he didn't know Buhari did everything to rig the election. There's no law in Nigeria, but I still consider this a victory because Obi's efforts led to many revelations and the true colors of many highly esteemed people in Nigeria. And that's the simple truth. There are many persons we are revering in this nation. There are many persons that before now, many Nigerians were looking up to and saying that this person is good, this person is the best. Like what we saw, even in the case of Wike, there are many persons before now that revered him and thought that he was a very strong politician. But the 2023 presidential election and the road to the tribunal has opened the eyes of many to what our politicians really are and to what many of our leaders in this nation truly are. Another person here says, skin as white as snow, heart as black as a raven. We know the elders who fought against illegitimacy with the new generation, and we know the elders who supported illegitimacy. Your generation is not the hero they claim to be. They are the complete opposite. We know better now. And that's the simple truth. Nigerians now know better. This particular presidential election petition tribunal has opened the eyes of many to what is happening in our nation. It has made many persons to sit down to study our electoral act, to study our 1999 constitution, and to even know how elections are done in this nation and how our judiciary work. Even if yesterday's judgment didn't come out well, we still know that this is also a victory for Nigeria and for Nigerians, because to a very large extent, our people now know the law, because to a very large extent, our people are now able to hold our government officials accountable. Another person here said, Oga, at official bat was rigged into power. All appeal court did was to validate the shenanigan. Nothing more. Nothing more. Just the same way the Supreme Court validated the fraudulent elections of Senator Ahmed Lawan and Hope Uzodinma. No amount of judicial rascality can make a fraud better. This is why Nigeria can never work. You can now see why they quickly ask you to go to court, because they have muzzled judiciary. And that's the simple truth. We cannot just keep folding our hands and keep watching the same set of people leading us, and then we'll just keep quiet and say, just allow them to rule. The next 4 years we are going to come back, or the next 8 years we are going to come back, and the people keep suffering. Nigerians keep suffering. This is actually a wake-up call for everyone out there, that we will keep pushing until we get back this mandate. After INEC promised Nigerians that they are going to follow their electoral guidelines and they are going to follow the law to transmit election results on the election day in real time, they disappointed Nigerians, and then the appeal court judges led by Justice Samani went on to uphold what INEC did, to say that it is not compulsory to transmit election results in real time. INEC not required to transmit election results electronically, tribunal tells Peter Obi, LP. So this is what Justice Samani and his panel came out with. They came out to tell Nigerians that INEC has their rights. They have the right to choose what they will do. If they don't want to transmit the results in real time, it's their choice. But I want us to watch this video of Festus Okoye, what he told Nigerians that they are going to do, that they are going to follow the law. Watch this video and you know what I'm talking about, guys.
Section 47, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2022 makes it mandatory that to vote, the presiding officer shall use a smart card reader or any other technological device that may be prescribed by the Commission for the accreditation of voters to verify, confirm, or authenticate the particulars of the intending voter in the manner prescribed by the Commission. So the use of the beavers is a mandatory provision of the law and it's not an option of charity. The Commission does not have a discretion on whether to use the beavers or not. The law says that we shall and must use the beavers, and this Commission is committed to using the beavers because we spend so much time, we spend so much energy, and we spend resources in putting together the beavers. The beavers was developed by the Commission's in-house engineers as a way of making sure that identity theft is minimized as much as possible at our polling units. So we cannot spend time, resources to develop the beavers and then throw it away and say we won't use it again. It doesn't make sense. So the beavers has come to stay, and we are going to continue to use the beavers in all our elections. I am at the conduct of transparent elections driven and propelled by technology.
Section 64, subsection 4 of the Electoral Act has made transmitting election results in real time mandatory. These were the exact words of Festus Okoye in this video I just played for us. This is just to show us that INEC and the Election Petition Tribunal, all of them, they planned to just turn our law upside down, to turn the Electoral Act upside down, and to give their judgments based on technicality. That's the simple truth. INEC, you said it yourself through Festus Okoye, and then the law, it's very clear. There is no two ways about it. But at the end of the day, the PEPT just came to give us technicalities and to trash this strong case. Imagine this. What the INEC said and what is very clear in our Electoral Act, that you must transmit election results in real time from the polling units. But at the end of the day, the judgment of the tribunal yesterday was nothing but a big slap on our faces, nothing but a big slap on our judiciary, that you want to hide under the guise of technicality, not minding what your constitution that you are following is saying, not minding what the Electoral Act of the country is saying. Is this actually law that we are practicing in Nigeria, or broad daylight robbery? Reacting to this on Twitter, which is now X, Nigerians are not happy and they are sharing their grievances about this. Chude Nnamdi here said, the Commission, INEC, will also transmit polling unit level results in real time. The transmission of polling unit level results is also a mandatory provision of the law. After watching this video of INEC Director Festus Okoye and other legal documents and constitution where it was stated clearly, these corrupt judges looked Nigeria in the face and made excuses for INEC. That's the simple truth. They looked at us in the face when we know the law. when we have the law with us, and when even INEC themselves made that statement before the elections that they are going to transmit election results in real time from polling units because it is compulsory, because it is mandatory according to the law. But the judges looked at us yesterday and told us that INEC has the right to choose whether to transmit it in real time or not. Will you have the right to do something when the law of the land states that you should do it this way? As an electoral body, you are supposed to uphold the law. But INEC flaunted the law, and then the justices of the tribunal yesterday upheld what INEC did. Another person here said, "My heart is broken. Alas, it was but a dream. I dared to hope, but hope is now dead. My country, Nigeria, I love you, but I will do so from afar henceforth. My heart cannot take this pain. Nigeria is like an abusive spouse who beats you senseless and apologizes, thus giving you hope. Then they do it time and time again." Another person here said, "Since the courts chose to turn a blind eye to these overwhelming deceits by INEC against Nigerians, we will not bother about electoral acts and constitutional interpretation again. The highest bidder goes home smiling. We won't let them sleep for keeping us all awake." That's the simple truth. The highest bidder will always go home smiling, because we saw what happened yesterday. The law was before you, the electoral act was before you, the 1999 constitution was before you, but you didn't use them in your judgment. You were just trying to favor the sitting president. You were just trying to favor INEC so that at the end of the day, they will escape. And that's all you did. After Nigerians have been expecting, calling on the judiciary to do the right thing day and night. And it's so obvious. Everyone knows in Nigeria who won the 2023 presidential election. But the judiciary did not uphold the law. The judiciary trashed our electoral act. The judiciary trashed the 1999 constitution that they are supposed to work with. At the end of the day, they just gave us the president select. Another person here said, if INEC is not bound to electronically transmit election results to the IREV, how then will results be transferred directly from the polling units as mandated by the Electoral Act? Can results be transferred manually directly from polling units? Note that delivery of physical copies of Form EC8A to the collation center together with agents of political parties and security agencies is a separate requirement. And this person saying this is a lawyer. So this law is very clear. It's something that everyone can interpret. Just the way they tried to use technicalities in FCT yesterday, that's the same thing they did for this one. The law is straightforward. The law said transmit election results technically in real time, so that as you are putting it out there, people can be seeing it, Nigerians can be viewing it. But you did not do it. You flaunted that law. Yet the tribunal came again yesterday to say that INEC is at liberty to do it any way they want, when our law states that they should transmit it in real time. Now you are saying they have the privilege, they have the responsibility to choose any way they want to do it. Another person here said, Justice Samani has said INEC did not provide a system for electronic transmission of results because it is susceptible to hacking. He said that there is nothing in the Electoral Act or INEC guidelines to show that INEC prescribed to electronically collate results. That the only collation system is the physical collation at the collation centers. What about Beavers and IREV that Mahmood and Festus Okoye promised in Chatham House and on local TV? That's the question. What about the promises? It's even in the law, it's even in the Electoral Act. Yet they flaunted it. And then the tribunal justices led by Justice Samani just came out yesterday to support them. Another person here said, they said we should take our anger to the poll. We did. They rigged and unleashed violence on us. We raised an alarm. They said we should head to court and present our case. We went to court and presented evidence. Judges threw away the Constitution and Electoral Act and upheld illegality. To start chaos is very easy. JPS said they have turned the Electoral Act 2022 upside down just to affirm Bola Tinubu e no go better for INEC. Imagine this kind of judicial rascality coming from the appeal court. Sad. And it's very true. You just turned the Electoral Act 2022 upside down in our presence. And Nigerians, we all have access to this Electoral Act. We know what it is saying. Another person here said Justice Samani said that BVAS was only meant for verification and accreditation of voters and not meant to be used to transmit the election results to the INEC IREV or any other location. That the IREV is just to allow people view the results electronically. He never mentioned how the result would get to the IREV portal. He kept stammering and stuttering all through the process, just to tell you that it's either he doesn't believe in what he was handed over to read or never rehearsed it. Another person here said the judges defended that INEC didn't promise to transmit results electronically. I might be an APC stakeholder, but this particular ruling is shocking. What happened to the new Electoral Act? This is a big question, and this is coming from an APC supporter. This person here, we know him on Twitter that he's a Tinubu supporter, and you can see it from his profile picture. But he's coming out himself to say that what the judges said yesterday is not correct, because we are all Nigerians and we were in Nigeria before the 2023 elections, and we know what INEC said, we know what they promised, and they even showed us what the Electoral Act 2022 states, yet they flaunted it. And then the judges, they are supposed to defend the law. The judges, they are supposed to uphold our 2022 Electoral Act and are supposed to uphold what the citizens are saying, ended up supporting INEC, that even APC supporters are surprised, and they are coming out to say that this particular judgment of the justices yesterday is shocking, because we know what the Electoral Act stated. Another person here said there is no point voting in Nigeria again. This judgment has set us back to the years of manual transmission. At INEC Nigeria, we decided to vote because we promised electronic transmission, but as it is now, no need to vote again. I will also read towards this press release by INEC sometime last year, around November 2022, where they stated that they are going to uphold the use of BVAS and IREV. See it here. Alleged plots to abandon the transmission of polling unit results to IREV portal. Our attention has been drawn to reports in a section of the media of alleged plans by the Commission to rig the 2023 general election by abandoning the direct and real-time electronic upload of polling unit results to the INEC Results Viewing IREV portal by the Registration Area Technical Support Staff (RATEX). The claim is patently false. The Commission has repeatedly reassured Nigerians that it will transmit results directly from the polling units, as we witnessed in Ekiti and Osun state governorship elections and 103 more constituencies where off-cycle governorship and FCT area council elections and by-elections were held since August 2020. The results can still be viewed on the portal. The IREV is one of the innovations introduced by the Commission to ensure the integrity and credibility of election results in Nigeria. It is therefore inconceivable that the Commission will turn around and undermine its own innovations. The public is advised to ignore the reports. The Bimodal Voter Accreditation System (BVAS) and IREV have come to stay for voter accreditation and uploading of polling unit results in real time in Nigeria. Signed, Festus Okoye, National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, on Friday, 11th November 2022. So this is what the INEC told us, and they were saying these things, backing it up with the law, that this is what we are going to do in the 2023 presidential election, and they failed us. After failing us, and we spotted that INEC did not do what they said they're going to do. They did not upload results in IREF real time to Nigerians so we can view the election results in different polling units. They didn't do that. We took it to court, and yet the tribunal led by Justice Samani trashed the case, saying that INEC have the right to transmit results any way that pleases them, abandoning our electoral act and even INEC's own guideline. Another person here said, well-meaning Nigerians, for record purpose, these are the names of the Court of Appeal Justice that murdered the Nigerian Constitution and Electoral Act today, the 6th of September 2023. Justice Haruna Simon Samani. 2. Justice Boloku Roma Moses Ugo. 3. Justice Misturat Bolaji Yusuf. 4. Justice Stephen Ada. 5. Justice Abba Bello Mohammed. Before now, we keep saying that these justices should do the right thing, not just for now, but for posterity's sake. At the end of the day, with what they did yesterday, would they look back and be proud of what they did? Would their family members look back and be proud that their fathers and their mother, that they were part of the panel that upheld justice in Nigeria? No, because they didn't do that. What they did is that they went there to help INEC complete the rigging of the 2023 presidential election that was already done. We know that this is not going to end here. Peter Obi and the Labour Party have already said they are going to the Supreme Court, and we believe that the Supreme Court, which is the highest court of Nigeria, will not go the same way the appeal court went, and we will still keep calling on them to give Nigerians justice. It is so obvious. If of a truth what happened yesterday in the court was correct, if the justices, their judgment was correct, it will be everywhere in Nigeria. People will celebrate. But it's not, everybody is just there crying and lamenting, because that's not what the people want. But we hope that the Supreme Court will do better. We hope that the Supreme Court will give Nigerians justice. So guys, Peter Obi himself have come out to say that he is going to the Supreme Court to challenge the corrupt judgment of the appeal court. I want us to watch this video, guys.
As petitioners in this case, we respect the views and ruling of the court, but we disagree with the court's reasoning and conclusions in the judgment it delivered. It is my intention as the presidential candidate and the intention of Labour Party to challenge this judgment by way of appeal immediately, as allowed by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. The PEPC has rendered its judgment, but that esteemed body is not the final arbiter. The responsibility now falls on the Supreme Court. I do know that the judgment is not conterminous with justice. I implore Nigerians to remain focused, steadfast, and peaceful, and to abide by the rule of law and understand this matter has not reached its logical conclusion.
Watching this video, you will know that Peter Obi knows what he's saying, and he said it few months ago that he won the presidential election and would prove it in court, and that's what he did. But the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal did not give justice. They went ahead to favor Tinubu, and now he's coming out to say again that he is not staying down, that he's moving over to the Supreme Court. And I believe that this is the best decision, because justice must be served. And you also saw in the video that he called on Nigerians that at this particular point in time, they should embrace peace, even as we move over to the Supreme Court. And that's what he has always done. He does not want any violence of any kind. He wanted that the law and order be followed. But at the end of the day, the same law, the same order that Peter Obi keeps telling us to follow, that's the same law that our justices are breaking. How will you want Nigerians to embrace this same kind of law that you people that are the lawmakers are breaking? But like he said, Nigerians are still going to follow him because he is our principal, and we know at this particular point in time, we believe that at the end of the day, the Supreme Court will do the right thing. We are hoping that they are not going to go the path of the appeal court, but they are going to look at these evidences that have been brought before the court by Peter Obi and his legal team and give justice. Reacting to Peter Obi's decision to go to the Supreme Court, this person here said, I wholeheartedly stand by Peter Obi in these trying times. It's heartening to see him continue his relentless pursuit of justice. The resolve he has shown in the face of adversity truly embodies the principle of democracy and justice that I respect so deeply. I firmly believe that his decision to move to the Supreme Court is a step in the right direction, a brave move to ensure that the voice of many isn't stifled. I continue to support him, putting my faith in the judicial process for the very last, hoping it will uphold the true essence of justice and democracy. It's more than a quest for the presidency, it's a stand for the principles and values we hold dear in our nation. Another person here said, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, a presidential candidate refused to back down against criminality that has consumed the Nigeria structure. A man that stands for justice. My love for PO is unending. That's the simple truth. He has refused to back down. He's staying strong, and we believe that at the end of the day, justice will be served. Because if Nigerians keeping quiet, if our politicians that are upright keeping quiet and allowing those who are criminals, who don't have any plans for the nation, to continue stealing our mandates and going over there, they will be comfortable and they will keep doing it and doing it again. So we have to make it clear both to Nigerians and to the whole world that these people got into power illegally, that they were not rightly voted, and the whole world will know about it. Another person here said, I support Obi 100%, not because I think the Supreme Court ruling will be any different. Hell no. But it needs to be made clear to the whole world that our judicial system has failed and Nigeria no longer operates within the bounds of the Constitution. Also, speaking on the appeal court judgment, I want us to listen to what this PDP spokesman have to say about it.
Justice is exactly what you and I and every common Nigerian would be able to see, feel, and understand. The facts that were made available before the courts and the evidence that were provided during the deliberations leading to the judgment yesterday were substantial enough to have rendered this election null and void. They will have provided, not just the lawyers of the PDP, even that of the Labour has substantially provided sufficient grounds for the nullification of this election, if we are to go by the provisions of the Electoral Act and the rule of law that this country is itching to have. Now, all the things that will make life meaningful to Nigerians, all the things that would justify the credibility of the election, beginning from the credibility and the eligibility of the candidate of the APC, this time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, leading to the election proper, every other thing that we have had up until the judgment of yesterday fell short of expectation, and it is to some of us an affront to the rule of law itself and a setback to democracy. It's a reversal of fortune, and we were expecting that the evidences that were provided were sufficient enough to have rendered this election, null and void, to nullify the election, as it were. But it's sad. That's what we are faced with here, and like you heard them say, we are going to exhaust our constitutional right of redress, which is to approach the Supreme Court.
Right. Now, you just said that the judgment yesterday didn't meet your expectation. When you see your expectation, what were you expecting? That the election be entirely nullified, or that your principal be declared winner?
Well, there were a lot of evidences that were provided, like I stated, to nullify the election. If you nullify the election and order for the wrong, that would have made a lot of sense. But for the respected judges to say that from the beginning to the end, they saw nothing wrong, from the eligibility of the candidate down to the election proper, which fell short of expectation. You heard about the deployment of technology, which we thought would improve the integrity of the process. That, again, was flawed. in the admission of even INEC itself, which superintended over the election. But yet, the judges came here and say it met expectations. So it's sad, it's shocking. We are yet to recover from that root shock. And it's a terrible setback to all.
Would you say your legal team was blindsided in a way? Maybe, I mean, they were, moved by sentiments and emotions in a way that they did not envisage some of the loopholes that the other side, could have taken advantage of. Is that a possibility? It couldn't have been any, because those issues that were expected to be trashed as pre-election matters leading to the election matters properly were trashed sufficiently by these lawyers. Have you heard any of the grounds of the judges that put a spanner on the works of our lawyers? No. All they brought was just technicalities informed by sentiment. And we are here where we are. It's unfortunate.
Peter Obi's decision to head over to the Supreme Court, for me, is the best decision, because at this point in time, it is clear to everyone that what the appeal court did on Wednesday, what the justices led by Justice Samani did on Wednesday, was biased. Their judgment was not based on the evidence presented before them. Their judgments were based on technicalities, and that's not what we want. We want a better Nigeria. We want a better society, and that's why moving to the Supreme Court, we will know if of a truth we have law in this land, Nigeria. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Please do well to like this video, share your thoughts about the video in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you are yet to subscribe, so you get notifications whenever we post new updates.